Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 4 of Postcode Podcast.
Do you want to know the SP about postcodes? Are you fed up with all the BS? Do you get a bit PO'd if you don't know? It's sent off for Wormgate and Winkley's yes. Yeah, you'll be fine. It's Stacks and Gears, Postcode Podcast time. Yeah, you'll be alright. Prick up your ears. Now it's Postcode Podcast time.
Right, I'm Dax, and I'm joined by my co-host, the Hampshire Natural Keir Attrell.
Hi Dax, how are you
Hi.
doing? It's a long
Good.
time since we've done these Postcode podcasts, isn't it? A good few months now.
Yeah, it's been a long time. There's a few nerves flying around because this is the big one. It's the end of an era,
It's the last Postcode podcast.
probably.
There might be other podcasts in the future, but this
Right.
one is
It could
London, isn't it?
be. Yeah,
It's London.
we're going to tackle London, ladies and gentlemen. So sit back, strap in, get ready for the big one.
Obviously, it's not L is Liverpool, as everyone knows, or some of you might know, but it's split into. It's unique, isn't it? How you got.
London, yeah. Well, the thing with London is, me and you have both said the same thing off air. You don't know where to start.
Where do you start?
There's so much to tackle.
I reckon.
And
Perhaps start with the why. I mean, it's not London. You got the city of London. Obviously,
Yeah.
Square mile. Which is sort of east way. You got central London, and a massive area that's expanded over the years, isn't it?
That's
I think
the-
that'd be
that's
the
the-
goodest thing to start.
I think that's the
creation
thing.
of Greater London, perhaps.
Well, good segue. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people probably aren't really comfortable with knowing what is London and what isn't London.
Mm.
And if what's Greater London, what does Greater London mean?
And even people who live there are the worst, I think, because if you live in Charing Cross or the city or around the city of London, like I don't know, like Mile End or something, you're in central London, don't you? If you live in somewhere like Bromley or Croydon or
That's it,
Enfield,
yeah.
people have got mixed opinions. You've got an old school who think they're from a county, like a home county,
Yeah.
even though the post office.
The historic counties. Yeah.
Even the post office reckon them as those counties just because they never changed it. But you could think that. But actually, they're in the London
Yeah.
borough, aren't they now?
So to people within London themselves.
So they're in London. They don't realise it. Or,
Unintelligent.
in fact, sometimes these people don't want to realise it. Which is the problem.
Yeah. Because they haven't.
There's no point arguing with them because you can't win.
So I think a good place to start, as I said before, might be with. It's not strictly postcodes, but it does relate to postcodes. It's the formation of Greater London itself. I've got a few notes here. Back in before 1965, you had the County of London. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yeah.
And it was surrounded by 4 counties. Starting from the north, going clockwise, you'd have Middlesex, Essex, Kent, and Surrey.
Yep.
As I'm sure you're aware. And then in 1965, they introduced Greater London, what we now know as Greater London, which meant that the 4 counties surrounding London ceded parts of their county to become this new county of Greater London. Middlesex, Essex, Kent, and Surrey. Now Middlesex we'll get onto in a bit because that was slightly different. So you had parts of, we'll take for example Surrey, that used to be Surrey. Croydon.
Yeah.
Croydon's a great example, that's where you live. So it used to be Surrey and then it became part of Greater London. But the postal address of Croydon is still...
Croydon, Surrey.
Yeah, it's still Croydon, Surrey. But it's now part of Greater London. And the same thing happened with Romford and Essex and Bromley and Kent and a few other parts. So you've got these areas that they're now officially part of Greater London, but their postal address is still. Like you look at a county map of the UK now. Where's Croydon? Is it in Greater London or is it in Surrey?
It's Greater London.
Yeah, but what's your address?
Sorry. It's because the post office didn't bother to change it because it's.
And rightly so, because it would have made too much.
Their job is to deliver letters.
Yeah, yeah.
And why change that?
So your letters will still go to the Guildford sorting office.
They'll still go to your house, wherever you live.
Oh yeah,
They'll still go somewhere. But what's the point in changing something that doesn't need to be changed? Even though, but they're trying to make a metropolitan area, aren't they? Have something that's so populated.
But I think that can sometimes be a source of confusion for people who don't know.
You don't understand.
Like
or want to understand.
Yeah, like it's well, yeah. Maybe they don't want to understand. Maybe they do. Maybe they're listening to this. So like, they might not know whether it's Croydon, Surrey, it's Croydon, London.
Yeah.
Because Greater London doesn't exist as part of the address, which is kind of confusing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense logistically, but it's kind of confusing. Like, say, Greater Manchester is your. If you live in Bury or Oldham, your address is Greater Manchester.
Yeah. You'd probably just put Bury at the end of the.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need Greater Manchester, but it's not wrong to put it.
Yeah, and it would have it'd have the postcode of Manchester, wouldn't it? I should assume.
Probably, yeah.
But
the point being, it's part of the address, whereas Greater London isn't part of the written address.
That's it. Yeah.
And I think that's why it can be confusing. Now, the thing with Middlesex is, I'll just get into Middlesex before we move on. The Middlesex used to be a county. Used to be you had the City of London. Middlesex was a rural county. Like when
the County of London though, was it?
There was County London. Yeah, you're right actually. Yeah, you had the County of London with the boroughs within.
And then the city.
And then the City of London. City of London, County of London. Then outside London, you had like Middlesex was a county. Outside London. So Middlesex dissolved. So it no longer exists physically.
Doesn't a cricket team exist?
The cricket team exists. The university exists.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that makes people think it exists, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
cricket
possibly.
And the university.
Because what used to be Middlesex is now the northwest corner of Greater London, and the rest of it became just parts of Hertfordshire, and I think Surrey.
Yeah, it was.
So it just dissolved, So you look at a county map now, and Middlesex isn't a county. But Middlesex used to be a county.
But isn't there some parts in Hertfordshire now that were part of Middlesex then, but have never been part of Greater London?
Yeah.
It stretched out far, didn't it?
Because some of it became Greater London, some of it became Hertfordshire. But some of it still has the address of Middlesex. The parts that are in Greater London.
Is that like
Harrow?
Is that like Enfield?
Enfield, Harrow, Brent.
Yeah.
So if you live in Wembley, for example, your address is Wembley, Middlesex.
Yeah.
But if you look on a map, there's no such place as Middlesex.
No. And like if you explain to someone in Australia or America, like where we're going, and the vast places in their country, and they say they're in a suburb and they're 100 miles away. You're 10 miles away, or 5 miles away, and it's not London. And they wouldn't just say London. It'd be easier, wouldn't it? Wembley, London.
You're right. You should meet someone from Australia.
Just take Wembley out, but London.
And you say, where are you from in Australia? And they're like, oh, Sydney. Then you find out they're from like 2 hours from Sydney.
That's like us saying Birmingham.
Yeah.
No. It's like us saying I'm from London, but I'm actually from Birmingham.
That's like me saying I'm from the North Sea.
Yeah.
Because I'm only 3 hours away.
Yeah, the far top of the North Sea. Oslo even.
Yeah. That was our attempt to explain what Greater London is. But it probably didn't work, but
it's obviously a big metropolitan area, and then the more people who live there is what drove it to split it up into smaller things, and that's how the boroughs started, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think in the old county of London you had a certain amount of boroughs, like for example Bermondsey was a borough in its own. Now it's not. It's in Lewisham.
The City of London was its own borough.
Was it a borough then? Was it? Yeah.
But it was independent from the rest of the county of London, but
because
I don't know if that's relevant for a postcode.
Because now there's 32.
There's 32.
There's 32 boroughs.
Bloody right.
But there's one. The City of London is on top, which is not a borough technically. It's the City of London. You've got 10. You've got 10. Sorry, it's 12 inner boroughs and 20 outer boroughs.
Yeah, that's right, and 32 in total. And all the outer boroughs, just for those who don't know, the inner boroughs are addressed as London. For example, 1 Smith Street, Islington, London.
Yeah.
And the outer boroughs are addressed as the county they used to belong to.
Yeah.
For example, 1 King Street, Romford, Essex.
Yeah.
Like
Or 1 King Street, Croydon, Surrey.
Yeah, or Bromley, Kent.
Kent.
Or Brent, Middlesex.
Yeah. But obviously you've got the way they did it, they had the points on the compass, didn't they? The inner boroughs would have north, like say you got 8 points of the compass, it had all 8 to start with. Yeah.
N for North.
But obviously outer postcodes, you've got CR for Croydon, BR for Bromley, you've got IG for Ilford.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, IG?
EN for Enfield, TW Twickenham.
I think
You've got KT Kingston now as a London borough.
Yeah.
The London Borough of
Kingston upon Thames, yeah.
The Royal London Borough, is it Royal? It might be Royal.
Probably is, yeah. I think a thing to remember is that the inner boroughs are given a compass point and the word London.
Yeah.
And the outer boroughs don't. We probably confuse the hell out of people, but it's time for our feature. A very famous feature by now. Challenge Actual. Alright, Kier. As it's the end of the year, I'm giving you 5 questions with a possible, I'm not sure, 7, 8 points maybe? Question 1. On a compass point, there are 8 major directions, north, south, east, west, and of course the 4 in between. Which 2 are not used as inner London postcodes?
Well, it's which is for Newcastle, which is used for Newcastle now, and it will be S as well, which was now used for Sheffield. They were used for the middle of London to start with, but they changed it.
Yeah. Well, very comprehensive answer. 1 out of 1. Question 2. Where has the postcode SW1A 2AA?
Where is it?
Yeah. What? Is it building?
I'm gonna say Downing Street. Or is it the House of Parliament?
So yeah, have a little think about it, but not too long because
SW.
I don't know how long the tape is.
SW1.
SW1A 2AA.
Downing Street.
Yeah. Yeah, the answer's Downing Street. I'm not sure if 10 Downing Street has its own postcode or not. Question 3. True or false? E20 is a genuine postal district.
False.
I thought I'd catch you out here, and I did.
Really?
It used to be false, but as of 2011, E20 is the district for the Olympic Park in Stratford.
So it's not Walford then?
No, they created a new one.
Okay, that's a good one. You caught me out there.
Question 4. That's a potential 4 points here. The university boat race starts and ends in which 2 boroughs? But as the river forms the border, I'll give you like a point for the north and south.
So it starts.
If you know what I mean. It starts obviously because the river's in between 2 boroughs, and it finishes in between 2 boroughs.
Does it start in Hammersmith and Fulham?
Yeah, that's one of them.
And Southwark?
No.
No.
Do you want to guess any others?
Chelsea and Kensington?
No. I'll cut you off. With the answer to question 4, which you got Fulham. It does start in Fulham or Wandsworth on the south, and it finishes in Hounslow or Richmond. Now question 5, which sporting arena would you find at N22 7AY?
N22. I would say top Whitehall Lane.
Sadly no, I thought you might get this one. It's one of your favourites.
N22.
Yeah. I'll say Sporting Arena. The answer is Alexandra Palace.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I thought? I thought it was football you were talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't realise, sorry.
I just said Sporting.
I think I've had my downfall here.
So, yeah, what did you get on that? You got your you got NE. You got Down the Street. You got False on Liffey Park. You got one of your. You got one of the boat race. Oh, you still got 3.
I think a comment I do like to make is every time you go on Wikipedia and you put anything in London in, it has this is 10.9 miles north east of Charing Cross or 2 miles,
Yeah.
0.3 miles south of Charing Cross.
It always says how far you are from Charing Cross.
And I wondered why, and I think even though you think a lot of people think the City of London is in the middle, it's obviously East Central postcode, so it's further to the east. Whereas I think Charing Cross is the middle. And then I know taxi drivers with their knowledge exams, it's 6 miles radius or something from the Charing Cross. So I think that could be a link why it's.
So that's in the middle.
It's the middle.
So what's the postcode of Charing Cross? East Central.
Charing Cross.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be that. It would be I don't postcode. No, it wouldn't be east. It would be. It might be. I'm not sure actually. Saying that, that's a good question. It might be WC actually, West Central.
Is it the most central train station? Must be.
Well, it's very. It's not far from Waterloo, is it? Across the other side of the river.
Yeah.
Because you got the river. Most of London is on top of the river, isn't it? Because if you look at the tubes, most of it is north of the river, and a bit south, and the rest of it they don't acknowledge is just it's overground rather than London Underground.
Yeah.
It's London Overground, isn't it? It's a similar sort of network. It's actually probably bigger area, isn't it? No way,
Could well
much
be,
bigger,
yeah.
but it's not considered the same stature, is it?
Anything else we got down there?
I'm going to talk about football teams and their boroughs.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's a great shout.
It's obviously league football teams and their boroughs. What do you think?
I don't really know many of these, but I'm sure you know.
Tottenham, what do you think that is?
Well, I think I've heard this is Haringey, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
N21, I know. No, sorry, N17. Tottenham's
Well,
N17.
oh, good. What about Arsenal?
And Arsenal's N1 Islington. That's
Islington.
it's quite well known, isn't it?
West Ham.
Only because we've had this in the pub. It's Newham. I'm not sure what it is. E6, is it?
I don't know actually. What about?
I don't know.
No. What about Leyton Orient?
You told me, I can't remember what borough it is.
I'm pretty sure it's just over the border from Newham.
From Newham, that doesn't really. It's not Hackney, is it?
Epping Forest.
Epping Forest, that's it.
So we stay north of the river. We're gonna go for we're gonna go for Brentford.
Fuck, I've seen this as well. Is that in Hounslow?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
In fact, is it in Richmond? The borough of Richmond, I think.
Oh, it could be, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in Richmond.
I'm not even sure Hounslow is a borough.
No, Hounslow's a borough, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there could well be Richmond, yeah.
What about we'll try AFC Wimbledon.
AFC Wimbledon.
Well, guys. Yeah.
So that would be Merton. No?
No,
Wandsworth?
because they play somewhere else. They play in Kingston, the borough of Kingston.
How did they really?
Yeah. They play outside of Wimbledon.
That's a trick question.
They're thinking of opening up Plough Lane again, aren't they?
Oh, right.
I think they're trying to do that. Crystal Palace.
Palace must be Croydon,
Yeah.
technically,
Millwall.
on the edge. Millwall, fuck. What borough's Millwall in? SE. It's south. It's in Greenwich.
No.
It's not. I really don't know.
Southwark.
Southwark. Oh, I was gonna say.
Charlton.
I was just thinking, what's Charlton? Is that Southwark as well?
No, Greenwich.
That's good.
See where you crossed there.
You got my wires crossed.
Can you think of any other teams? Yeah, oh no. There's
Well,
three,
I think
three
Queen's
with
Rangers.
stars. Yeah. Where QPR?
Well, it's near Brentford, isn't it? I don't even know where QPR.
It's Hammersmith and Fulham.
Oh, it's the same, and Fulham is Hammersmith and Fulham,
Yeah, and it's the same with.
and Chelsea is Hammersmith and Fulham.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not in the Royal Borough of
It's not in Chelsea.
Kensington, Chelsea, is it? It's QPR's sort of Shepherd's Bush way, which is.
That's right. Yeah, she's Shepherd's Bush, isn't it? SW19 Wimbledon.
Yeah, Wimbledon, tennis courts. Well, the All England Club. Hopefully, get tickets this year.
Good luck with that.
But I think we've given we've given an explanation of given an intro. We've given the creation of Greater London in a nutshell of what they tried to do to make it into a big sort of super city, wasn't it? Rather than
Yeah.
because I think perhaps it is competition around the world how they want to make it a player in the world, being a massive city, a big population city. If you look at the population of London, you're looking at the whole boroughs. It's not just that inner circle.
Yeah. So it keeps that
Keeps it
status
state,
internationally. Yeah.
And I think there could be a lot to it. We've given postcodes, compass points. We've given all sorts. But I would like to say a thank you to the fans of this show.
Yeah. We couldn't have done this. The Postcode podcast, isn't it? We couldn't have done it without the fans. And that's the only reason we did
It
it.
just drove us along, didn't it? All that support, wasn't it?
Everyone listening right now.
So
Big shout out.
So thanks Dax for our interest in postcodes and geographical areas. I know we haven't covered the whole country, but we've covered some key cities.
Yeah.
Well, some key cities and one rural area. So
Yeah. No, and likewise, you know, thanks for turning up and actually doing it.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking part. You
So
know, it's been enjoyable.
is that time to sign off then?
I think it might be time to sign up.
Is that the end of the Postcode podcast legacy? Or
That could well be the end. Well, we could be back in a new year with something. There might be a treat out there.
I mean, I know a famous London show, Only Fools and Horses, says it's never coming back. It did. And apparently they're doing a sequel now. So
for the last time, it's goodbye from Kier.
and goodbye from Dax.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.